So let's pretend that I could actually see. Ha, 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 ha. Okay, we're muted there.
Welcome to Steps to the Stage, a 7th Street Community Theater podcast.
Welcome to Steps to the Stage, where we talk to the community theater professionals you know and love. My name is Kirk Lane, and I'm going to be your host today. We are so excited to talk about CCT's next production, A Raisin in the Sun. Today, we are so honored to have TonI, who is our director here, and we have JoJo and Tachi, who are part of the cast. And if I'm not mistaken, this is your first time on Steps to the Stage.
Yes.
So welcome.
Thank you so much.
We are just really excited to have you here, and we're really excited to learn more about A Raisin in the Sun that is going to be opening up on September 12th, running through the 27th. We have Fridays and Saturdays. It starts at 7:30 p.m. and Sundays at 2:30. And as you know, everyone, we're going to put a link in the notes so that you can get tickets. But just for those of you that want to hear it, you can also call our box office area code 909-590-1149. You could also go to our Facebook page. You can go to our webpage and you can get all that information. We'll talk about that in the end. We'll put all the links in. We also want to welcome all of our listeners across the country and across the world. We've really been getting an uptick in some listeners across the pond, as they like to say. So we just love that there are community theater people out there that are learning about these amazing, fantastic productions. So with that, we're going to turn it over to TonI to give us a little bit about this insight. And most of you know TonI. This is probably her 4th or 5th time on the podcast.
Right.
She's been so involved, not only here at the Chino Community Theater, but she's also involved all around the Inland Empire. And we're really excited. We're going to have some upcoming Steps to the Stage, i.e. episodes with TonI at some of the other locations. So TonI, give us a little bit more insight about A Raisin in the Sun.
Obviously, it has not been done very much. That's one of the highlights of this. What an opportunity for our theater and for our actors to get a chance to be in A Raisin in the Sun. It required 10 Black people and 1 white. So it was you can't change it. That's the way it has to be.
It's important to get the message across correctly.
Exactly, and we're not. It's about 1950s Chicago.
Okay.
And they're in an apartment that is run down, and they'd like to get out of that. Each one of them has a dream. Every one of the family members has a dream to get out of there and to go on with their life. And I think most people can relate to a dream. We all have dreams. And this is about this family's dreams and how it all works out. There's heartache, there's laughter, it's just such a slice of life. I can't begin to tell you. And when you get actors like JoJo and Tachi that acts, oh my God, they are on fire out there. They really are on fire. There's some of the best performances ever, and they bring such life to this that I cannot wait till everybody sees it.
Well, we're so excited, especially when we have a production that can include the diversity and inclusion that's needed in the world.
Exactly.
But our community theater has embraced it for many, many years, and we're excited to be able to showcase that here on our stage. So thank you so much. And then before we move over to our actors, any other notables from Lorraine Hansberry, if I pronounce that correctly, who wrote that? Is there any other connection or anything we should know about A Raisin in the Sun, since it's not necessarily as popular as others that we may have encountered?
Yeah, it was a movie, by the way.
Okay.
And, Sidney Poitier.
Oh, well, there you go.
And here's our Sidney Poitier. But yes, it was a movie, and it was very well received. And it was also on Broadway.
Okay.
And they had a revival of it. And Denzel Washington. I mean, these are just, primo people portraying these iconic parts. And it's a great story. Lorraine wrote this about some of her own life experiences.
Okay.
And the reason it's called A Raisin in the Sun is because from a poem, and the author's name, I'm sorry, I don't have
Langston Hughes.
There you go. Thank you. And,
Teamwork.
Yes.
Makes the dream work,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you. And he said, "What is a dream that is not?"
What happens to a dream deferred? Does
That's
it dry up like a raisin in the sun?
See, she knows.
This is fantastic.
Yes, and that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect.
Well, thank you so much for that. And that's great information for our listeners to know that you've got other resources, especially those that aren't going to be able to come to the production. You can watch two amazing plays, movies
Yes.
that had the best actors in acting history. I think I can go out and
There
say
you
that
go.
when you
I
mention the
agree.
two names that you have passed along to us. So we're really excited, though, that we get to present it here on this beautiful stage, of which everyone, I know you know this on most of our episodes, but there's rarely a day that goes by at this theater, and I'm sure most theaters across the country, where there's not multiple things going on. And right now, you guys are building the set, you're painting the
Yes.
set, you're working on props. I know yesterday I met with your sound team, and we helped with all of that. And so it's great that we get to record these podcasts here, but all these other amazing things are going on. So
And actually, they were very excited about getting a chance to do this because it is a validation to our actors. It is a validation to our theater that we have people with such passion that you showcase for us. So thank you so much.
Community theater, I say it every episode. It's all about the community, and it's all
is.
about all of us together.
It is.
All right, so we're going to move over to our actors, and I'm going to start off with JoJo, who's right in front of me. And I want to first hear a little bit about your acting journey and then what brought you to this production. And then we can go a little bit into your character.
Hey y'all. Acting. So technically, I started as a dancer.
Lovely.
I started dancing at 8, and I didn't get into acting until high school, where I think I ended up doing. I think it was The Wizard of Oz, and they needed boys, so they were like, "Hey, can you come and audition for the show?" And I was like, "Sure." And then it was from there I was like, "Okay, well, there's a musical theater, so I'll just do theater and dance in theater." And then college is when I started actually taking acting seriously, because when you get into college, they're like, you have an acting emphasis. So I was like, okay, well, I have to read plays and things of that nature. So I started, I guess, taking theater seriously in 2013. And my first production was Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
That's a good way to start. Good place to start.
It was rough.
Okay.
Well, because I think once you start taking theater seriously, you realize it's a lot of work.
Yes, it is.
And so you have to develop that passion for it,
Absolutely.
that work ethic. And at the time, did not have that. Because 2013 is...
But you discovered it then, and then that allowed you to understand your path forward.
Well, I mean, I think which is interesting, because that's kind of where I relate with Walter, because, a dream deferred, where you might be younger and you have dreams, but you don't know how to go towards them. And so me sitting here at my age now, I'm like, oh, I know what I want to do. I know what type of shows I want to do. And I'm passionate about it. But it's like, man, if I had this when I was in 2013,
Yeah.
I would have, skyrocketed. But I mean, my passion for theater developed over time, and now I actually am going to be applying for a master's program in October to teach.
I love that. And so is this your debut on our stage?
Yes, this is my first time doing a show
welcome.
at CCT. Thank you.
We're so excited to have you into the family, and it's an amazing family, which I hope you've already experienced. So, well, we appreciate you giving us a little bit about your journey and into your character. This next guest, everyone, I'm sorry, I just got to pause for a second. We just met today, and from the moment she walked into the room where we're recording, there was an energy. There was a light. There was just everything about me just was calm, and I felt like I'm in a good place. So I want to welcome you, and I want to just direct the same questions to you, and I want to hear a little bit about your journey to where you are now with A Raisin in the Sun.
Oh, okay. Well, I started off in church. I was a singer first, and Easter productions and Christmas productions is pretty much where I got my start. And I didn't really get into theater also until I got into high school.
Okay.
My sophomore year, I was invited to a summer session at the California Institute of Performing Arts in California.
Wonderful.
One of the most prestigious schools in the world.
Yeah.
They're number 3, I believe, still.
Fantastic.
On my college journey, I began one of my first musicals was Gypsy. So that show is very near and dear to my heart. So just a side note, seeing Audra McDonald be Mama Rose
Wow.
was a huge deal for me.
Wow.
So it's a show that's very near and dear to my heart. And so I kind of took a step back from acting when I had my son, but when he got a little older, I developed that passion again because I looked at him and I said I would want him to pursue his dreams almost as much as I do.
And he's in the show.
And he's in the show. He is Travis.
So you're leading by example in so many different ways.
Yes.
And that's great. And so your son is in the production as well.
Yes.
Okay.
He's
fantastic.
good. He's actually really good.
Yes. He's very
Even
good.
in auditions, he came back to read for the second time and didn't need the book.
Oh, yeah.
We discover so many great talents, when you have to dig deep and you have to, really understand what it is that you're being asked to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we love that. And we've talked about this many times on the podcast. Auditioning is very difficult.
Yes.
It takes a lot of nerve, right? And I hear about it all the time in other podcasts that I listen to and talking with other actors. Like a majority of your life is rejection.
Oh, yes.
So really, it's that fortitude that pushes you through. JoJo, kind of like you talked about, where you're like, you didn't necessarily feel you had that go at the time, but you got to be persistent. So, and we understand the auditioning process can be so difficult.
And it's not
so
just
scary.
auditioning. I mean, even throughout the whole production, it takes a lot of courage.
Yes.
It takes a lot of courage. And sometimes it's not exactly what you get that wasn't exactly right. So it's really hard. And you want to validate what they're doing and everything else, but they're pulling from far away. And it takes courage. It absolutely does. And if I don't like it, or, a director says, no, you got to change that. Oh, oh. But they are really good about taking direction. And that's the thing. You're an artist. We are artists.
Absolutely.
And I feel that we're putting pictures on the words, and that's what we do, and we do it very well.
Right.
So I'm so proud that we can do this. And these two, oh my gosh, they're leading the way. Every cast member, though, every single one of our cast brings 100%, and they all have a moment, a shining moment. So, and they lead the pack, and this is the area we want to get to, and we get there.
Now, did either of you have familiarity with the Raisin in the Sun prior? Had you seen any of the other movies, or was it something that was already a part of you, or did you get exposed to it through this production? And it's okay. I mean, if you just learned about it.
Well, Raisin in the Sun, I was able to experience watching Ruby Dee and Sidney Poitier do the film version of it. So I'm very familiar.
I love that.
And then there's another version with Sanaa Lathan as well as Felissa Rashad that was made for TV. And then there's another one that I've seen of Danny Glover and Esther Roll, who played the mom on Good Times.
So just tons of resources, and the names that you're giving to us again are people that have just made such an incredible impact in the art world.
So it's good footsteps to follow.
Yeah. JoJo, you?
So I did. There was a point in college where I realized, shocker, I'm Black. So I started going after, material that I could relate to. So a lot of like August Wilson, Lynn Nottage, I started learning. And so I know that I looked for A Raisin in the Sun because I wanted to see like how our stories were being told on the page. So I'd already kind of had some familiarity with it. And so like when I saw it, it was being done, I was like, how do I get myself in the space where I can actually audition for it? So
Agreed.
Well, and that's got to be difficult too as an actor, director, when there is so much out there, right? When you have different representations of that particular story, right? You get influenced by every single one, right?
I kept saying, we're not doing the movie. We're not doing the movie.
Yeah.
We're doing our show.
Yes, but it's like, again, I've mentioned I'm a musician, right? So I have all the bands that I've loved to listen to. And if you come and see me play, you're going to hear a little bit of each one of those musicians that I grew up with, right? Yes. To make what I currently am today. So that's got to be good, but I guess also daunting and maybe a little bit frightening. Especially when you mention some of the names, but then in the same breath, though, it's also got to be empowering.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I think for the reason why I love theater in general is because you can watch all these performances, or you can, take influences from music, but something about being an artist where you take that and you channel it into how you feel, how it makes you want to, present it. And so that is usually what ends up being put on stage because, I'm not Danny Glover. I'm not Sidney Poitier, but I'm
but you're JoJo.
and I want to, take those footsteps that I saw before me, but also do something of my own. So if someone sees this production and they're like, you know what, I would really love to do that. I would also love to do theater. So it's my own steps.
I love that, JoJo. And when you said that, that was exactly what I was thinking of. I hadn't necessarily put that into perspective. I do that sometimes when I'm a musician and I see a small kid and I'll give them a pick, right? Yeah. And they'll hold on to that thing like it is a bar of gold. Yep. Yeah. And, that's what inspired me, right? And so you guys are going to have that opportunity in every single performance to be able to inspire someone to, and maybe it's not acting, maybe it's just doing that difficult thing, as you had mentioned, Tony, that, it can be difficult to just find that inner strength and go for it. And then especially it seems like the theme of this particular production, this particular play is about finding that dream and finding that courage. And
yes. Absolutely. And it's difficult sometimes to play people that are layered and not just, especially JoJo has a difficult time because his character is very unlikable in many moments. Very unlikable.
It's true. So it's very true.
So he has to win us over. Yeah. So he's got a whole character arc that he has to go through. And again, that's they pull from themselves and they pull from everything else, but both of them ask a lot of questions about their character. And I'm a kind of director that said, well, how do you feel about that? Do you think that you would be, what's your thought process with this? So that they really can own it. So they really can believe in what they're doing and saying. And, they both obviously have natural instincts, which are, phenomenal. But that way we get to fine tooth this so that I think people are going to be just really amazed at how professional this is.
So we talked a little bit about your son that's a part of the cast. What about some of the other cast members? I would love to hear about who else is in the cast.
Yes. Do you have that?
Yeah, here we go. I don't know if it has everything on there or not.
It does. So I have several people in the show. Orlandria plays his wife, Ruth, and she's so good. I can't even tell you. She puts that softness on there, and yet she's got, she keeps them rounded up. She does.
Keeps them honest.
Amanda Flanagan is the sister, and she's the one that fights them tooth and nail. She fights them tooth and nail, and she's got such energy and such presence. It's awesome. Bryce Johnson, he plays the Nigerian. He is so good. That accent is perfect, and he has, oh my gosh, he has a moment up there on stage that just blows you away. Yes. I mean, I sat back every time I hear it. Mm-hmm. It really is good. And Ezekiel, her son, like I said, he's 9 years old, and he's fearless. He's just great. Yes. So I'm so happy. I know. We have to tone it down a little bit.
Yes.
He's going to need an assistant when he comes home.
Yeah,
Mom, I need this done for me, please.
Absolutely.
And, Dante Reynolds is another really good actor, and he plays the boyfriend of Amanda, and he he's rich, uppity, and so he really tackled this and came up with a perfect rendition of how this rich black people, that's a whole different character.
Okay.
So that's what he had to come up with.
Okay.
So and Vincent comes in, he's got one scene, and he breaks your heart, and oh my gosh, I'm so every one of them.
You're getting excited just
Yes, I
reading
am.
through it.
I am.
And that's exactly what we want to hear about. That's fantastic.
Mike does a great job. Mike Trulock comes in, and he's
Mike's a veteran of our stage,
Yes.
and I've seen probably I don't know 6 or 7 different productions. And speaking of energy and just on point, and so I'm glad to see
such an asset to me. I've used him so many times in so many of my shows. I love him. And then Joyce Warhop is going to be our Mrs. Johnson. Again, it's a one scene thing, but these actors, they're coming in and they're giving 150% on a one scene and just blow you away. That's why it's such a great ensemble.
That's great.
Everybody participates. So
fantastic. So we have a great cast. So another thing we like to talk about here on Steps to the Stage is, acting, of course, and having a great play or musical to work with is great. But when you're an audience member and you come in, you kind of want to just put everything behind you and you want to come in and see the stage and you want to go into that world, right?
Absolutely.
And you guys are building your set right now.
Yes.
But I would love to hear more about the set. I would love to hear more about costuming. Yeah. I would love to hear more about the other elements that I think really are extra characters. I think we all would agree.
Exactly. Did you want to talk about the set? Can you do it?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, the set is actually nicely coming along.
Yes, it is.
Pulling together.
I can concur. We were just out there.
Yeah. So it's just your basic apartment of the 1950s, a refrigerator and all the fixings of a home.
And a stove, a very heavy stove.
A very heavy
And I'm just going to interject and say we have a group of, we're theater dads and we meet on Saturday mornings when we're in town. And then we either end up here or we end up at the prop, storage place. And so we loaded that bad boy in my truck and it's got a little weight to it.
Thank you so much, though. Thank you.
But, the thing is it's a real stove.
It's real, yeah.
And so it adds to the whole set.
Yes.
It's crowded. It's a rat trap kind of thing. It's going to look like that.
Yeah.
But all these people live there.
Yeah.
And they want to get out of it.
Right.
And so you understand that from looking at it, why.
Yes.
Why that is, So I think that's really
I'm
good.
really proud of the pieces that they were able to acquire for the set because it gives that realness of the 50s and being a regular, what some would consider middle-class family trying to move up into the world. I think it gives it that special element to put us in that era or in that time frame.
And you kind of felt right at home when you saw it, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it helps, right, when you're an actor.
Yes.
And we talked about it on one of the recent episodes. Is like, growing up, you like to play dress up, right? Whatever it is that you like to put that costume on because it makes you feel a part of that. And when you're doing a production, or you're doing a community theater production, like your costume, the stage, the sound, the lights, all of it needs to lead to that. We're going to escape into this world.
Absolutely.
And I think we do a fantastic job here.
I
I'm
agree.
very biased, and then if I'm not mistaken, AJ is head up the set build and design. He's another one that is part of our group that meets on Saturdays, but he's also a great actor and he's new to us in the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's worked with me. We were on stage together, and then I had him in my production of What Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
That's right.
At Riverside.
That's right.
So he and I have bonded for a life,
Yeah.
And he's really excited.
Special
about
human being, for sure.
And talking about the costumes, Kathy Miller has done a fabulous job. She does so much research and everything else, and worked hard to make them look like the 1950s. And again, they had so many changes. We were all shocked about how many changes you have to have in this. Oh my gosh! And and we have some specific things we got to work on. Some Nigerian clothing that we're still trying to find. So we're working hard on all of that. But she's just a genius about things, and I think that adds, like you said, to the characters once they know what they're going to wear.
So you have Phil that's helping you with sound design.
Yes, Phil
Is it Samantha that's doing the live sound for you? Who's doing your lighting?
Kylie's designing it.
Wonderful.
And Robin Hocktail is going to be running it.
Okay.
So I got such.
You got a great
people.
crew. Stage manager
is Alex Huey.
Alex, who is in
Yes,
here.
yes.
So the stage manager, Alex, who we've known and I've known because we actually acted together in a Christmas Carol
Okay.
a few years back. So we've known each other for a while. But the stage manager was here before we recorded the podcast to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
So that's the stage manager, everyone.
Yes.
Like they need to make sure that everything's okay. So that's great. So you do have a fantastic.
I do.
Anyone else of note that you would like to talk about that's
Let's
helping with the
see,
production?
Julie's
producing.
Julie Moore does my production, and she's my.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love Julie. I don't think I've ever done a show without her.
Yeah, I think
really-
she might have produced the two that I was in.
Yeah,
so
she's awesome, and Debbie Ming runs the house,
Yes.
and she's on top of all of that.
Ron's another part of the Breakfast Crew
Yeah,
group.
there you
It's
go.
just all the threads of everything
This
is.
truly is my family here.
Yeah.
I mean, Chino Theater is my family, and I take a lot of people sometimes to my other locations, but Chino's my home.
Well, we really appreciate, Tony, that you step up, not just here at Chino, but just in Inland Empire and in general, right? It takes a lot to step up to be the director.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to, take a vision and be able to take this group that you've never worked with, right?
Yeah.
You've only worked with a few of the people.
Yeah.
And it sounds like most of the cast it's their debut here.
Yes.
Is there any newbies like first production at all, or does everyone have some experience?
Vince, who is playing Bobo, he he's just started theater this year.
Oh,
So
okay. So he's fairly new.
Fairly new. And he's even though he's got this small part, he's very excited about it. He's very happy about it and thinks it's a gift. So, wow.
Well, it really is, right?
I think so.
I cannot stop. This is going to be a theme forever, so I'm sorry, listeners, but community theater.
Yes.
The word community means so much. You can
Yes.
say community in front of anything, and it
Yes.
should be important to you, but especially for us here,
So,
because,
just as a side note, I in community theater, that's where I met my husband.
yes.
And we were actually married in the community theater. And so my life has been involved with
Yes.
the theater, my best part of my life anyway.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
yeah,
and
it's
both
really
of you
nice.
have just brought so much to
Yay.
the theater world, this theater, of course, but to just the theater community in general.
yeah,
So,
thank you.
and I think that's what keeps bringing us back. I know that's what keeps bringing me back to do these podcasts, whether I'm producing, engineering, or hosting, and just hearing and learning more about this stuff. Let's just, spend a little bit more time and talk about your process, JoJo. You've been doing this for a bit, and do you have a routine? Do you have you're auditioning, and then you get the part, and then life still goes, right? Because we're not on Broadway in our separate dressing room. We're not out in a trailer in Hollywood.
I'm getting a lot of money for this.
Life goes on.
Life goes on.
But is there a process? Is there things you like to do to prep you for a role?
For me, I like to make playlists. It
Okay.
sounds weird, but
Yeah.
I'll make a playlist for each character that I'm going after to kind of get into
That's
that mind
wonderful. Okay.
phase. But also just for me going into school, we were pretty much told given circumstances. What is your character's given circumstance? And so when I think of the characters that I play, I always go, well, what is the situation and how do I feel about the situation? And once I feel what I need to feel, it's easy for me to kind of attach myself to the words and get them out, one, but also to kind of memorize them and be able to play with different ideas. And luckily we have a director who's very communicative. So if I'm confused by something or, don't know what I'm supposed to do, I'll ask and then we'll have a conversation about it. But my main thing with my process is I have to feel what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
or I don't know what I'm doing because I'm just
Right.
reciting words is great. We all can read it off a page, but
Pledge allegiance. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm
You
what
connect
does
it to something.
Yeah.
That's what it's the connection to what is on the page and how
Love
does
that.
it make me feel so I can radiate that to the audience.
Yeah.
Because you want the
love that.
audience to feel something.
I appreciate that because I do a lot of singing as well in the band that I'm in, and you do a lot of songs. You have to remember the words, and I find that when I can put a story to it, when I can connect it with something,
Right.
it's easier for me to
Right.
to embrace that and then know what's coming up next, right? Because when you gotta do a bunch of lines or do a bunch of songs, you
And
gotta.
he has so many lines in this. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
They both do. It's just amazing. So you're doing great. Doing great.
Tachi, yourself.
Well, I always find myself playing roles of the mama or the more mature character. So I spend a lot of time looking at older generations and things of that sort. Like I try to stem from experiences of my own being around women who are older and wiser and, looking at how they dress and how they do certain things. And I know me for myself, I do a lot of research and I do a lot about just outside the times. I think in particular with Raisin in the Sun, it's way more than just a family having a dream. There are multiple layers to this show. You have the gentrification, you have family discrimination, and there's just so many layers, especially with each character. So, and then me myself, this particular role was easy for me to get into because I'm a mother myself. And, I look at, especially all the sacrifices my mother and her mother have had, in order for, their children to realize their dreams. So this production will also be near and dear to my heart because I think about myself and I think about, my son and how I want him to pursue his dreams also, and what parents have to do to sacrifice to make sure that their children have dreams also, and to also have room for my dreams too.
I have a smile that is hurting me right now because of the feeling that you gave. So I want our listeners to really receive what she just shared with you. It's just great words of wisdom, not just for a role, but for life. So really appreciate you sharing that. And I think that's important for our audience to know that you got to dig deep for some of these.
Absolutely.
And when you can relate it to your own life, I think you can have an amazing performance. We've had such a fantastic time talking to you guys today. I so look forward to seeing you two. And congratulations and welcome to the Chino Community Theater. I know you are welcomed with open arms, especially with TonI being involved.
Absolutely. TonI has been just such a force with this show. And I'm just forever grateful that she would even consider such a show and to even consider JoJo and myself and even Ezekiel. So we really appreciate her. And she's been such a joy to work with. Every time we come in, she has a smile on her face and she's ready to work. She's about the work. And what more could you ask for in community theater? It really does feel like a family.
That is fantastic. And I just got to share with our listeners, because we don't video this, so it's just audio. But throughout this entire conversation, it was like the three of them were kind of one organism, like celebrating each other, celebrating each statement. Finger snaps and claps were going on. And I want you to know it's like 100 degrees outside, everyone. And we have two extra guests that aren't on headphone and mic, two flies that have been making their presence known the entire time. And
First audience.
these the lifeline between these three, right? Like they showed their acting chops because as these flies are going everywhere, but more importantly,
We named them Billy and Bob.
Billy and Bob's presence were well known here. But the connection of the three of them, and every time I would ask a question, they would answer. You could just see the other two being a part of that answer. And so that shows me that obviously you've already done a great job and you've got, a week plus before you open, and that's got to feel real good when you're ready to go. So I'm excited about that. I want to celebrate it and I can't wait to see this. And we want the audience to go buy your tickets as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
Again, we're going to have a link in the show notes, but just in case you didn't hear it the first time and so that I can use my announcer voice, please call our box office at area code 909-590-1149 or visit us at ChinoCommunityTheater.org. See, I made my own self laugh. So we've got 7:30 starts on Fridays and Saturdays, 2:30 on Sundays. The run is from 12th through the 27th. So please get your tickets. $18 general, $15 for senior and student. students. This is going to be an amazing production, everyone. So please come on out.
Come on
Just
out.
as a side note, Friday
Yes.
nights, the first weekend Friday
Thank
night is a
you.
gala, and we
Yes.
have food. You can meet the cast, and it's just a lovely time. And Sunday will be the talk back.
Talk
So
back.
people could stay and talk to the actors.
And that is
which
something
they
that our
love.
theater has
Yeah.
been doing for a while.
Yes.
And I'm so thankful that you brought that up. And
Yeah.
that's so important. So if you do want to come to the opening weekend, you can get that little extra
Yeah.
theater gala. And here where we're recording in our green room is where they set it up. And everyone volunteers and brings some food and some snacks and some drinks to enjoy after a fabulous production. So thank you so much for sharing. And then you said Sunday is the
Sunday is
talk
the talk back.
Sunday's the talk back.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So click the link, call the box office, get your tickets now. If you're not in the country, you can reach out to us and let us know about your community theater experience. We'd really love. We were able in the beginning of this podcast to interview someone from Australia, so we'd really love to expand out and maybe find someone in Europe or other parts of the world that is involved in community theater. So reach out to us, connect to us through our social media or through our website. So TonI, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
JoJo and Tachi, so great to meet you. We're so excited to have you on our stage. And I'm really excited about this production, y'all, A Raisin in the Sun. I'm excited actually now that you've guys given me a little bit of a history behind it. I need to now go do my homework. So, and that's what we hope sometimes this podcast can do that for people is to go do their homework and know how much great art is out there. So thank you so much for joining
Kirk.
us.
You're the
Thank you for
best.
having us.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thanks for listening to Steps to the Stage, a 7th Street Community Theater podcast. Follow us on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review and a 5-star rating. It really helps. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Special thanks to Chino Community Theater and Chino Community Children's Theater for their generous support. And very special thank you to the listeners. Steps to the Stage was created by Joey Rice and Kirk Lane. Logo created by Marley Lane. Original music by Joey Rice. Your host, Kirk Lane. Engineer and producer, Joey Rice. Engineer and executive producer, Kirk Lane.